Broadcasting live from the Business Radio X studios in Atlanta, Georgia, it's time for Atlanta Business Radio, spotlighting the city's best businesses and the people who lead them.
Lee Cantor here with Stone Payton, another episode of GSUENI Radio, broadcasting live from Georgia State University in the Entrepreneurship and Innovation Institute headquarters. Stone.
Hey, man, this is the one we've been looking for. We've been broadcasting live all day down here at GSU, caught up with some old friends, made some new ones, and like every time we've been here before, just so many bright, passionate folks doing some really interesting stuff. This final episode today is going to be no exception. We've got a studio full. First up on this episode, please join me in welcoming to the broadcast. We've got the creative director, Emile, and the CEO and founder, Daniel Fitch, with Natural Leaders Media. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for having us.
Well, before we get too far into things, tell us about Natural Leaders Media. How are you serving folks?
We serve folks with video production, content creation, script writing, and copywriting.
And who are your clients?
Businesses that have zero to no visibility, or businesses that want to up the ante with their video production and create videos that tell their story.
And how did you guys get started?
How did we get started? Well, 2011, I started a distribution company. I am actually a serial entrepreneur, so I have delved into many different ventures prior to this. Video is a passion of mine, telling stories. And I said, I'm not working corporate anymore. How am I going to make money? So you had a real job? I had a real job and a real boss that was
in what industry? What industry?
Actually, the last corporate job I had was with Three Ring Studios, which is I was director of operations of an up-and-coming studio build that never got built.
Like a movie production, film production?
Yes. It was. They were slated to build 45,000 square feet buildings. Mm-hmm. Yes. So that was my last corporate job. And people don't quit jobs. They quit bosses. Did you have a boss problem? Well,
he's on the record here, man.
He's on the record. Fitch, proceed with caution.
Right.
With caution.
Well,
lean into that mic.
How about I had a money problem?
There you go.
I had a money situation. I advanced in title.
Mm-hmm.
But the pay did not keep pace with the title and the duties and responsibilities that I had.
Sounds like the radio business.
Really?
Oh, man.
So now that you own your own business, now you traded one boss for all your clients are bosses now, right?
So to speak. Yeah. When you're dealing with clients, they definitely, the client knows best. What you got to be able to do is work with them and work with their vision and see what you can do realistically. Mm-hmm. Everything is about parameters and being pragmatic, even creativity.
So to walk me through what an engagement looks like. Say I'm a company that I come to you and I need your help. What's the first conversation look like?
Well, first we have a questionnaire.
Lean into that mic, buddy.
We have a questionnaire or request for proposal on our website, naturalleadersmedia.com. And what you do is basically it's a various questions that we ask.
For instance,
who are your biggest competitors? What are the goals of your company?
What's your budget?
That's a huge one.
That sounds like an important thing.
Yes.
There's some scar tissue behind not asking that question at some point.
Right.
In budget, on the website, the capital B and the T is capitalized on budget. It's budget.
Right.
We lean into the mic with budget.
And so there's no budging.
There's no budging on the budget. No, well, we're a budget specific company. Which means if you come to us with a proposal or something that you want created, whether you have 5,000, 10,000, 1,000, we'll see what we could realistically do for you for that budget. We don't want to turn any work down. Mm-hmm. I mean, especially if you're passionate about something, we could be equally as passionate about it and creative.
And the pain I'm having is that I don't have any video presence or I don't have enough presence.
That is the exact pain. And also with that questionnaire, one of the key things is really getting the story of that business and translating that story to the world. I think that's what's most important with these businesses that I'm finding when we do sit down with them is that their story is just not heard. They may have a fantastic product, a fantastic service, but nobody knows the story. And a lot of these CEOs or directors of marketing, they want to tell that story, especially in a video capacity where you can look back at it and, it's like, wow, that's me. I look good on camera.
So now is your story that you're helping them tell, is it the origin story? Is it the mission story? Is it the why story? Like
it varies. It varies. It all depends on that person. You know what I mean? Each person's story and each person's jumping off point or the story they may want to convey is going to be different. Some people may want to tell an origin story. Some people maybe want to tell a story of what they're doing now, what's innovative about them. So it all depends on what that client, the story they want to tell.
And we cater that story to their audience. So and also within that questionnaire is like, who's your audience, who you're looking to market to, and that will help them conceptually create the story that their audience needs to hear.
And then are you finding that your clients can articulate this, or is this something that you have to draw out of them?
Both. Because what we do in our process, if we came to you and, or we came to EcoDrop, we would find out like who they want to speak to. So we'll draft a script in front of them, storyboard and all. So that way, when we get ready to shoot it, it's pretty seamless, and also they can see the steps. So some people are hands-on, want to get involved in the whole process. Others are like, no, it's just send it to me.
Right.
Let's shoot. When are we shooting?
And then what is kind of a reasonable amount of time to produce a video?
It all depends.
It really the budget. It goes back to the budget.
It goes back to the budget. Don't forget the T. But it really depends, because you could have something that's animation. You could have something that, is documentary.
So it's not just film or video.
Oh,
it could be any form.
Yes. A client we have right now, we're doing animation for them, motion graphics and animation, so no, it doesn't matter. And
so you have that capability in house, or are you subcontracting that out?
We subcontract it out, because at the gist of it, we're storytellers, we're producers. You know what I mean? So we're able to get the talent and put together the team that needs to get things done.
Now, part of your story is to talk about leadership.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
How did that come about?
I would say that came about with an African American community. There's not a lot of quote unquote say leaders is what the trope is, and I don't find that.
We're down the street from MLK.
Indeed. Well, that's a notorious leader, right? Like everybody in the world knows that he's a leader. But I'm talking about young people that have greatness within them. I'm a former student of Georgia State. I came back at 37 years old, and I met some fantastic, diverse, not just African American, diverse students that are leaders and didn't know it. I did a short film on campus with 25 students, non-paid. So getting them motivated.
You didn't know about the budget program that you guys had?
Before he met Ron.
Right. That was definitely before I met
Ron. Trust me.
Yeah. He wouldn't probably be my creative director if there wasn't budgets. But, and I found that with a lot of the students that they just needed that push to know that they're leaders and they can influence other people. So my responsibility, I feel, is that to be a leader, I have to find leaders and leaders that provide services, provide products that help people. I love to help folks if any way capacity that I can.
Even without a budget.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
I mean,
we do in-kind stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we do stuff. We do stuff. It's not always about money. It's about, telling it, because we're storytellers. At the end of it, like I said, we're storytellers.
So, but once you create something, you can distribute it in all kinds of ways, right? There's nowadays, more so than ever before, you can take that explainer video or that talking head video or whatever you've created, and you can just put it on a multitude of platforms and use a variety of channels to reach very specific audiences, right? I mean, there's virtually no limit to it once you've got a good piece of content that communicates what you feel like you need and want to say to that constituency.
Yes, sir. I mean, and the thing about it is that it always goes down to what the story is. It starts there, and if people can't connect to what it is, then they're not like, even it could be a Vine, even though Vine's not around anymore. But it could be on Instagram. It could be TikTok.
The new Vine.
It could be TikTok. It could be on Facebook. It could be, traditional media, because a lot of people still consume traditional media. People watch WSB. You know what I mean? It just depends on what your audience is and what you want to say, and you're right, sir. You can blast off from there.
So now what about in storytelling? Are you using kind of these ageless storytelling techniques that where there's a hero, there's a problem that has to be overcome? Or is that some of the ways that you tell the story, or is there a new modern way to tell stories nowadays?
No, but I think like one of our competitive advantages is we take each commercial like it's a film, like it's a feature film. I love doing branding commercials, but my passion would be to create a feature film. Right. So what we do, if I sat down with EcoDrop, we'll get their story.
Man, you're really working the EcoDrop.
Yeah, I'm working the EcoDrop. They're right here. And why not?
That's branding.
That is
branding.
Now you guys know why you were invited.
Hey.
Did you bring your checkbook?
Well, Savannah, who are you with?
Angel assistants.
So if we're sitting down with angel assistants, what we will do.
Sorry, EcoDrop, you're out.
Right. We create a commercial that's a movie, right? So we like to try to get a little cinematic with it. That way we can have some fun with it. Like, it depends. If Savannah wants to do that, the client wants to do that, then we'll do that, but I feel like that is one of our creative niches, and also active listening techniques. So we really are listening. We're listeners first when it comes to this. That way we can get the whole story in clarity, full clarity, and be able to project it on a motion picture.
Now, Ron, what's your entrepreneurial journey?
Well, I started my entrepreneurial journey right here at Georgia State University in the Office of African American Student Services and Programs. It was this huge office with all these resources there. And so one time there was a flyer sitting on the desk, and it said the NAACP was having a rally for Gennaro Wilson. Do you guys remember that case out in Douglasville, that statutory rape case with those young guys out there? I saw a flyer for that, and I contacted the NAACP and said, hey, I'm a student here at Georgia State. I would love to do a PSA. They was like, yeah, we got a budget. I was like, wait a minute.
And I'm going to get paid too.
That's where you learned that word.
That's where you learned budget.
I had never written copy before. I had never directed. I had never edited. I had never done none of this stuff. I did it the first time, and I ended up becoming an ad buyer. And the person that I bought the ad from on Comcast ended up started feeding me commercials, and that's how I got started doing commercials.
Wow.
And and Natural Leaders Media isn't just a commercial company. We do commercials. That's our bread and butter. But we also do documentaries. We do films. I act at Dad's Garage full time. I know that's more theater. You know what I mean? So we're storytellers at our core, and we just use the medium of commercials to, get paid as well as tell good stories. Right. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
So then, so Georgia State was kind of instrumental.
Oh my goodness!
It was accidentally instrumental.
I mean, Georgia State gave me retention scholarships. The person that Dr. Derby, whose office we was out of, she gave me money to do my first feature film. I mean, Georgia State has been a godsend for me. I mean, what year was it built? Whatever year it was built, it was a blessing to me. I mean, so Georgia State.
And then you've been able to kind of tap into the Main Street Entrepreneurship Seed Fund as well.
Yes, definitely, and which is a great thing. That's something that Fitch found. I'll let him speak on that.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, kudos to Georgia State, man. Like, Georgia State changed my life.
Really?
I mean,
because you were down a path, right, that wasn't Georgia State oriented.
No, not at all. I was a mortgage loan officer. And, so my background is in mortgage and real estate. Like, I spent 14 years doing as a loan officer, right, a residential loan officer, and there I had a boss from HELL, and I can remember crying in my office, and like, a quick story. My birthday is December 29th, and I asked for him off the 30th all the way through New Year's.
Right.
My boss, right? So he's like, this is probably like on the 25th-ish somewhere, not even 20, that's Christmas. So like, let's go, I don't know, 22nd, something like that. I'm like, I need those days off. He's like, all right, well, if you can close 5 more deals before the end of the month, then yeah, you can have them off. So ask me how many deals I had in the pipeline at that time.
How many deals?
0. So basically, it was literally
start from scratch.
Impossible
and get 5, right?
to close 5. If you know anything about that business
over Christmas, right?
So his answer was no, and I can tell that it was the boss from HE Double Toothpicks, because you actually did say to begin with you did 14 years. You stated it like you had done time.
Exactly. right. Exactly. Well, I mean, that market is so combustible.
Yeah,
you
know, not
when
for
it's
the faint of heart.
When it's good, it's fantastic. when it's bad, it's like you said, you got to have a hard stomach. So nonetheless, I called out anyway. On the 28th, I went down to the cafeteria, bit into this turkey sandwich, some of the gristle, and cracked my tooth.
For real?
For real.
Not the lie that you told to get out of work.
No, this is true story. This is true story.
You can open up to us now, Daniel. You're in a safe place.
It's an intervention.
It's like, Georgia State's a safe place, Daniel.
This is a true story. So I was in pain, and I went and got it extracted, right? And I had the note and everything else. He's still like, look, you got to come in. So I'm in there on my birthday, no less, right? This is the 29th. And I'm selling deals with cotton in my mouth. This is, I swear it's no lie. But anyway, so on the 29th, the 30th rolls around, and I'm trying to like call. I didn't go in. I still was like, F it. I'm sorry. I still was like, I'm not going in there. I requested them off, whatever. So nobody's picking up their phone. I'm calling to check on these deals, right? I actually got 2 deals to possibly close. So the assistant manager was handling them. So I'm calling. Nobody's picking up. The secretary's like, oh, hey, Daniel. Gave me the hey, Daniel voice when I speak. I'm like, oh, man.
Troubles.
Yeah.
There's trouble happening.
She's like, I can't transfer you to Anthony. He's, I was like, I called 3 times. I emailed him. He's not in. She's like, yeah, you might want to come in. So I go in. My boss's desk was right there. As soon as you walk through the door, it's like right to the left. I look down, it's a box, and all my stuff is in this box.
Wow.
So I'm like,
on your birthday.
Day after my birthday, man. And I'm like,
happy birthday.
Yeah. So that was my story. I was like, man, forget this. I'm going back to coaching basketball. I applied to Georgia State. I got in that summer, started with the kinesiology department. And, the rest is kind of history. I changed my major within there.
Right, but it gave you the flexibility to do that. It made it possible.
Yeah, and it made it possible to realize that there's other outlets, and I could do stuff. I wanted to do what I wanted to do in life.
Right.
And this is what goes into leadership, is designing your own life. You can design your life, EcoDrop and Savannah.
And then, but you got to be brave too.
Super brave.
Because sometimes it seems like that just sticking with that job, even though it's terrible.
It's security.
And you think that it is security, but it isn't.
It isn't.
You know, it's literally costing you years out of your life just in terms of stress and health and things like that.
Entrepreneurship is stressful too. But the thing is, you're stressing. Yeah, you're stressing for yourself. You're stressing for your lineage. You're stressing for legacy.
Right.
You're not stressing for somebody to tell you that, come in here with a broke tooth and, drink a smoothie while you try to close deals. Tough it out. You know what I mean? So, entrepreneurship is tough, but it's rewarding at the end of the day. Yeah. It's fulfilling.
Oh, yeah.
And then so you guys feel like you're following your passion and following your kind of the path that you were meant to be on?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Definitely with me. I went to my mom's house, and I was cleaning out some of my old stuff, and I found writing awards that I didn't know I wrote. I forgot about. I didn't know I was writing in the 2nd and 3rd grade. I forgot. All I remember is getting yelled at by teachers,
Right.
And them telling me sit down and stop messing around in my seat. I don't remember no awards. I'm like, so I know that for me creatively, this is the best. This is the best lane for me to be in. This is the lane that I'll be able to excel and build wealth in. Is this lane right here?
And then you're seeing that it is possible to make a living in the arts.
Oh, it definitely is.
Oh, yeah.
But it's show business, though.
Right.
Don't forget the business with a B.
B. Yeah. That B.
Exactly, with a B.
B for business and budget.
Budget and business, exactly.
They're related.
Exactly. They're related. They're correlated, but definitely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So now if somebody wanted to learn more about what you guys are up to, website, coordinates, social media?
naturalleadersmedia.com. Everything Natural Leaders Media, except for Twitter, which is Natural Leaders M, as in media.
All right, before we wrap, I want to talk about what you were sharing with us in the lobby. You do some interviews, kind of these smaller little pieces that you do over the phone, or you do like kind of a quick pop-up setup, or how do you do these?
A quick pop-up setup. I started doing them at different networking events. So if I was intrigued by somebody's story, I'll just say, hey, I'm starting a creative leaders interview series and wanted to get you on. So I would get like 2 minutes of footage. So the whole purpose of that is to ask them a leadership question, what they feel about leadership, what is leadership to them, what does leadership mean to you, et cetera, et cetera. So they give me a spill, and then I ask them to do a call to action on their business or whatever they want. And I'll create that content and then edit that content and then disperse it on my platforms, and they can disperse it on their platforms. And hopefully business comes out of it, as we generate more and more.
Right.
Because we're actually, with the grant money, we're hiring a marketing team to do digital marketing and everything else. So their videos will get caught up into that wave. And hopefully they can generate some business and reciprocate down the line at some point.
Yeah. And so you'll be publishing these regularly and getting them out?
Yes. I'm on number 3, should come out next week. I'm not sorry, not next week, tomorrow. That'll be the 3rd one. I've already shot about 15 of them. So they just need to be edited at this point. Well,
you may have more than you need, but I have a pitch for number 16 because I would love for you to interview our CEO. And it's being kind of selfish, but I want to get the word out more. Well, I want people to hear him talk about leadership. I think everyone would benefit from that. But then selfishly, I would like the marketplace to know what we're trying to do in terms of have more Business Radio X studios in more markets.
Sure.
So you may get a pitch from me to have our CEO.
Yeah, exactly. Who's your CEO?
He's sitting across the table from
you. Hey.
He's been asking you all the questions.
Does he have a budget? Budget.
So that may keep us from being number 16. But
no.
Well, if you guys have a budget, we'll release this.
All right, deal.
Sounds fair.
No problem.
All right, but before we wrap, though, let's make sure that our listeners know where to go if they want to have a conversation with one of you guys or someone on your team about these important topics. What's the best way for them to reach out?
naturalleadersmedia.com. You can reach me via phone, 770-837-7343, 770-837-7343 is a phone number to contact us. And all social media handles, we're pretty responsive when it comes to engaging online. Email info@naturalleadersmedia.com. Everything naturalleadersmedia.com. Daniel Fitch, CEO of naturalleadersmedia.com. And Lee, would you mind sharing
what
your leadership thoughts?
My leadership thoughts. Here's a quick one. Don't read the news. Be the news.
There you go. See, the guy's full of pearls, man.
That's a quotable right there. That's what I'm saying.
It is.
Cow.
And that other voice there, that's Ron Emile, and without him, the whole opera falls apart. So,
right.
Do we need separate coordinates for you?
No,
to get like a different quote? Or
no. It's all the same quote, all out of the same budget. But the Natural Leaders Media, everything. I'm also at Dad's Garage too. So if you want to come and see some of where some of the quirkiness comes from, runs through our company, you can come down there and see us. And me and Fitch, we're out here getting it.
Fantastic. Well, gentlemen, thank you both for coming down and sharing your story. Keep us posted. Keep up the good work. And, man, what an exciting time for you guys. I'm just thrilled to death for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, stay with us. We're going to visit with some other entrepreneurs here for a minute, okay? All right. Next up, we have on the show Nicole Toole returning back to the Business Radio X microphone. Welcome back. She's a co-founder. We also have Ishir. Our producer here at Business Radio X, while he met Ishir in the lobby, did not ask Ishir how to pronounce his last name. So he's going to let Ishir do that on his own. How do you say your name, Ishir?
My name is Ishir Vasavada.
That's exactly how I was going to say it, man. But these two are co-founders of EcoDrop Technologies. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
So tell us about EcoDrop. How are you serving folks?
Yeah, so EcoDrop Technologies is a recycling solutions company.
Do you remember?
Yeah, I do. But right now, our project that we're currently working on is a reverse vending machine and an application that allows for students to be incentivized for recycling. So they'll be able to insert plastic bottles and aluminum cans into our machine and get points on our application, which can be used for products and services within their community.
And then they can use those points to buy stuff.
Right.
Like gift card. It turns into gift cards or something like that.
Right. Like a meal at Nonstop or
videos at leaders. Yeah.
Potentially like different services. It could be Natural Leaders Media.
There you go. Look at you guys. Now everybody's working together here.
Yes, absolutely.
Got to lean in there.
Sure.
So now, how did this idea come about?
So, we were in the Digital Learners to Leadership program right here at Georgia State, actually. And so the program randomly puts you in a group with 5 other students. And I always say how perfectly we all came together. So we met in that group, and the challenge was to create a technological solution to a societal problem. And so we all realized that, pollution is a growing issue. And recycling is the solution, but nobody does it. So we figured that if we could somehow incentivize people to recycle, then that would lead them to doing it more often.
Now, what stage are you at? Do you have a prototype? Is anything happening in the wild, or it's still an idea at this point?
So we are currently in the process of building a prototype. We have developed a basic. We are almost to the stage where we'll get our MVP out in spring next year. We are also doing demonstration days here on campus where we're just introducing the concept to students, where they physically bring in their plastic bottles and aluminum cans.
So they could bring in 20 bottles and 20 cans, and you would say, oh, if you would have done this in our machine, you would have gotten $1.
Yes. So
credit or something.
So a key differentiator for this is we are not giving out cash incentives, so not $1. We have reward partners in place, so we have certain restaurants on campus who have partnered with us. We offer certain amounts of discount on their products, on their meals. It could be any other service provider. So the students, when they turn in their items, get points, and these automatically get transferred into rewards and material incentives.
So if I want my brand to be associated with this whole idea of sustainable and green, then this is an important project for me to be affiliated with, I would think.
Absolutely. So it helps you get more traffic through EcoDrop. Right. It also helps in associating your brand with a cause that is rapidly growing and is massively being propelled forward by the youth, by students, which is our target market. And the service itself is exclusively for students at this point.
Right. But if student Susie sees that my taco stand is involved with this, and she's choosing between my taco stand and somebody else's taco stand, or my dress shop and somebody else's dress shop, she may be just a little more inclined, if she's kind of of this mindset, to do business with me.
Yes, for sure.
Irrespective of whatever little discount.
Now, the points are kind of arbitrary. They're not associated with money, right?
No, they're not.
So it's not money. Have you thought about, and this I would think, this is...
Are you going to give them an idea for free? For free?
Without a budget. I'm going to give them this for free. Ready? Yep. They put the thing in, they put the bottle in or whatever, and so instead of points, it's like a slot machine. So it's random. So it's like gamification.
Yes.
So they might get a car.
They can get,
a free car.
Yeah.
Or it could be a point. Like mostly it'll be a point, but make it so it's like gambling.
Yes.
That's so crazy that you say that, because we've had that idea.
Sure. Now, I just had the lawyer in here. Where's my IP guy?
So that's definitely a good idea, and we are definitely implementing gamification.
Some gamification, right?
Yes, we are. So we'll have a top recycler of the month, kind of a thing where the top recycler gets a surprise reward at the end.
Right, but that's for the top one. If it was random and I could win just for doing it once, I might do it once. But if it seems like I'll never get something good, it may not be worth my time to keep trying.
That's
nice.
true.
Yeah. So that random, the mouse has to get the cheese.
You're trying to get a patent on just the random aspect of your
the random part.
Yeah, we love that idea.
Because if all of a sudden I did one thing and I win a free meal somewhere, I'm like, I'll do it again. And then next time it'll be, you only won a point. So then...
Sure.
But I might try again because I could get a free meal.
Mm-hmm. That's
true.
All right, you guys can have that for nothing.
Well, thank you.
So now, how did you get involved with this fund?
So the Main Street Entrepreneurship Seed Fund is something that's supported by the Marcus Foundation, the founders of Home Depot. And they brought this to the Entrepreneurship and Innovation Institute at Georgia State University. And I have been associated with Entrepreneurship and Innovation Institute for a previous startup that I tried to work on. And
that was before you knew Nicole?
That's before I knew
Nicole. And see, now you're getting traction because you know Nicole. You connect the dots.
Well, so somehow we were all aware of this program coming here, and we started out with EcoDrop as something, just creating a social impact and not thinking about it as a business. This was something that was developed over time. So with the seed fund, we were looking to, expand our prototyping efforts, get more progressive on our application. So the seed fund, we did a presentation, a pitch, and you got selected for we are classified as a seed stage company at this stage. And the program is something that's been really helpful for us in terms of the mentorship they provide, the connections that we're able to make.
The money part too.
And the money.
The money part didn't hurt either.
Money with an M. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Now, who developed the logo? It's a nice looking logo.
Oh.
The logo has been actually developed by one of our partners who is an app developer. His name is Corey Townsend. He recently graduated from Georgia State.
So the whole team's Georgia State, or you got some ringers from other colleges?
All from Georgia State. Yep.
So Georgia State's been pretty instrumental for your work. Right? It's kind of where this all happened.
It wouldn't have happened
right?
without Georgia State. So definitely. Because if we didn't have digital learners to leaders, we wouldn't have been brought together as a team.
Did you know each other before that?
No.
So you were complete strangers?
Complete strangers.
Get out of here.
It was.
Yeah, we were complete strangers. And in fact, I'm a complete stranger to everything. I moved from India 2.5 years ago to this country, and being in a new city, being in a new environment, and then suddenly being hit by this wave of information from and learning about all these resources has been really, really
so now,
great.
Okay, now take me back to 2.5 years ago. You're in India.
Yes, sir.
And you're going, I'm going to come to America. At some point you had the desire to come to America.
Yes.
Right? And then that was hard to get to America, right? Or challenging?
It was.
Right?
It was. Yeah, it took quite 15 years.
15 years about. So you had to kind of stick with it.
Wow.
And then, so you make it here. And then your dream of dreams, did you think that things could happen this rapidly? What was your kind of vision of what it would be like in America, and how is it different than what it has been like?
Well, so my mindset or my thinking, which at this stage is completely different from what I had.
Right. I just want to know in India, here's this kid in India that's dreaming of coming to America.
Yeah.
And you had a vision of what America is and what could happen to you or what opportunities were there. So what was that person? What would you feel at that point? I'm trying to get a story here for you guys. Storytelling is important.
Well, at this point, he doesn't even know about grits.
Right.
They don't even have grits over there.
Right. There was probably no Waffle Houses there.
Yeah, waffles.
They have waffles, not Waffle House.
Not a waffle
You know,
house.
houses of waffles.
Yeah, different types of waffles.
So
Much better in some cases.
I'm sure. So tell me about you in India. What was your vision and dream, and what you thought was possible?
The India me was a bit naive. I would admit that. Unaware of possibilities. Just a lack of information at that age. In some cases, the lack of maturity. And it was of course I had dreams and stuff, but then the practicality of things was something that I did not gauge at that point.
Right.
Coming here and being as a student at Georgia State, taking a ton of different classes, being involved in other activities, and of course my experiences professionally in terms of how the jobs I got, the internships that I did. I got to meet a lot of people, and the way that I could blend into the culture was really important, which made me just realize how to communicate with people on a daily basis, how to make it seem normal and not seem like someone who is just unaware of things.
What about the coming to Atlanta and the environment, the diversity here? Did you expect this level of diversity here?
I had a small idea in mind, but the level of diversity here at Georgia State, it's like you have people from every country in the world in your class, you got these different accents, you got different colors,
Right.
you got different opinions. So that's been massive.
Was that,
To witness.
was it more than you thought, or you thought that's what you expected?
It's a lot more than I thought. And not just Georgia State, like I have visited as part of EcoDrop, we did, campus service. So we visited every major university in and around, like in Georgia. So
Right.
you could see the level of diversity in all these universities. But to be honest, I haven't seen the level of diversity I see at Georgia State.
Right.
Any of
Georgia
these.
State's unique, I
It's
think,
huge.
for
It's
sure,
huge,
in
yeah.
Georgia.
Absolutely.
And then, so how do you feel about where you're at now? Feel good?
I feel really good because the entrepreneurship journey has been like a personal discovery process. But in addition to that, my corporate experiences, even as an intern, has just made me more like, taught me a lot of like how to work and just get things done and how to communicate within effectively and working, as a team to solve problems. So that's been a really good experience.
And then are you involved in the Entrepreneurship and then Innovation Institute? Are you part of like getting entrepreneurship as part of your degree, a major, minor?
So I'm majoring in finance and computer information systems. With E&I, though, I have a really great relationship with, like, in terms of mentorship, they've
So
always been there for support.
You're able to access some of the resources that they have.
Every resource, yeah. You don't have to be an E&I major or a minor to access those resources. You just need to come with an idea. That's all they ask for.
Now, are you getting external funding, or is this self-funded, or you have these grants and you've had you got some money from this fund?
So we've got a $5,000 grant from the Main Street Entrepreneurship Seed Fund.
Right.
We are in the process of applying for other grants, and we have tremendous support on all levels from Georgia State with that. That said, we won't be raising any venture capital at this point. Once we get, reasonable amount of customers, sales numbers to like show venture capitalists to, that this is a business that can expand, that can
Right.
rapidly grow. We will
At that point.
expand. Yeah.
So first you're kind of building your own customer base so you have more leverage when it comes to getting funding
Yes.
later.
Yes.
And then you're going to need some sort of video product, to do that.
Oh.
Yes,
It's common knowledge, right?
Yep, that's true.
So now, what's next? What are some of the challenges you have, and what are some of the things you need?
So, the response from users, which are again students, exclusively students, has been really great, and it's been motivating for the whole team to witness that. But in terms of, and we've had great support from faculty and or like departments like E&I. But the difficulty that we're facing, that EcoDrop has both hardware and software components. So now the hardware part is, now we are building these recycling machines, right? We want to remove contamination, material contamination at
Right.
source. And right now we are only accepting, for that reason, just plastic bottles and aluminum cans.
Right.
We want to remove this contamination of materials at source. Now with the, I don't know if you guys have heard, but with the recent China ban on accepting
Recyclables, right?
yeah. A lot of containers are getting stuck at ports, and eventually they are just dumped into landfills.
That's not in the recycling brochure. They're not telling everybody that.
They're not telling that, and it's like very hushed, you could say that. But that's it. So landfill diversion rate is increasing a lot
Right.
more.
So people think they're recycling, but really it's just getting dumped in a landfill.
Exactly. So people are really unaware of where their product is, where their items are going. And with the authorities that handle these waste, now they send it for further processing to recycling centers, right? And these recycling centers, if the batch is contaminated, charge processing fee to the whole
To
batch.
decontaminate it.
Exactly.
Right.
Right.
So we are trying to just eliminate that contamination at source, and just sort out, materials which would otherwise need to be
So
sorted.
you want your kind of the place that I'm putting the bottle or can, you want it to clean it so it's good at the end of the day, right?
Yes. So the thing is that right now people are unaware and just throw any kinds of
A
plastic.
half filled, whatever, right?
Yeah. So now the technicality is that you have to only from plastics from type 1 to type 5, that can be recycled. Any other plastics are completely useless. There should be no any no oils or grease or anything
Right.
like that. So we will make sure that you only accept those items. That's one thing. And we also like keep the process, we streamline the process in terms of like separating out those materials, because a lot of the times like people just throw in everything in one bin.
Right.
And like these plastics are then they're all, sent to landfills. And if you can separate it out, and the process is manual, so you'll have people sorting out things, and it's a huge cost. So we are trying to just do everything at source.
Right. So that all takes place in the machine.
Yes. Yes.
And if somebody wanted to learn more, get a hold of you.
Yes. They can go to our website at ecodroptech.com, and they can follow us on Instagram at ecodrop.tech.
Yes, that's correct. Instagram is where you'll find like a lot of updates.
Yep.
Cool.
Well, thank you both for sharing your story. This is, I love
you.
the direction this entire conversation has gone. I feel 10 years younger every time we come down here and have these conversations. There's so many bright, passionate people here in the Georgia State University ecosystem. And I get fired up every time we talk to these people, don't you?
Yeah, it's really inspirational for what they're doing and role modeling for the other students here to show that the path doesn't always have to be get a job, go to school, get a degree, get a job, but it can be, create your own path, find your own way, choose yourself.
I like that. There's another quotable.
Did you write that down?
Choose
Write all
yourself.
that down.
All right. So the young lady that's going to bring it all home for us in this final episode today, she too is no stranger to the Business Radio X microphone. Please join me in welcoming back to the studio owner and founder with Angel Assistance, Miss Savannah Samples. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are y'all?
We are doing great. It is so good to see you and hear from you again. Get us caught up, man. What's going on?
We just got awarded the Main Street Entrepreneurship Seed Fund. I think that's how we say it.
That's all the words. I don't know if it's the right order, but those are the right words.
So I recently just bumped up one of my angels to a manager. So she's been doing our scheduling and helping me out more with kind of behind the scenes running the show.
So recap for our listeners that aren't familiar, what's Angel Assistance doing?
So we are a family assistance service that assigns an angel to your life for anything domestically, pretty much except landscaping and deep cleaning. So childcare, laundry, dishes, dog walking, housekeeping, all that stuff. So
it's kind of like a virtual assistant for my life or a helper?
Yes, for your life.
And then it could be anything like tasks of pick up the dry cleaning or, walk my dog. I'm going away.
Yes, exactly.
So now how did you come up with this idea?
So recap from last episode. So I started nannying in college at Georgia State, and I also became a personal assistant. So I was doing 2 families at the same time. And then that grew to 12 families.
12 families?
Yes, by myself.
In every week you would see 12 families?
Yes. And
what's the most number of families in one day?
One day, probably the most, probably 5 or 6.
5 or 6 so how can you even keep track?
She had to build a company.
Kids is that? How many kids? 25 kids? How many kids is that?
Probably around that. Some of our families did not have kids. Some of our quote unquote families were singles with dogs and animals. So.
Wow, that must have been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a ride. So one of our moms actually owns some businesses of her own, and she's actually also in the Main Street Fund, it was crazy. I walked in, I saw her, and I was like, what? But she's one of the ones that got me started on my entrepreneurship journey. She kind of put that nugget in my head, like, you should really start a business with this, since I was growing so rapidly through word of mouth. And I only have so much time on my own 2 hands.
So then you got other people to help. You got some angels for yourself. Did it grow out of that?
Yes. So I eventually had my own angel because I wasn't doing my own laundry and dishes.
So you got to hire somebody else.
And organizing my stuff. So I actually hired my own, which was great because I could come home and be like, oh, I don't have to do my dishes or laundry.
And that's the value, right? 'Cause
Yes.
you're giving people time.
Exactly. Christine gave me all the time when I got home. She was great.
And then, so is she still with you?
Yeah, she is.
Okay.
I actually moved in with one of our angel families recently, so I don't need that anymore.
Oh, wow. There you go. That problem solved.
Save some cash
So
for
now,
that budget.
how do you kind of incent the angels?
As far as pay?
Right. Like, so are they just doing it for the money? Because they got to kind of have a heart for this too. Like, they can't just be doing it for the money, right?
Yeah. So part of my actual, part of the grant I want to put towards our angels and kind of having towards our angels and our families. So part of it, I want to give my families kind of like a benefit package to, instead of getting like a nanny on the side or going their own independent way of finding help, give them packages to partner with places around Atlanta, like the zoo or the aquarium, places like that, or even local restaurants and stuff, to where when they become a family, they automatically have all of those memberships under a package as an angel family. And I want to do the same thing with our angels, going beyond paying them, giving them, like, say, like they get 3 spa treatments a year or something like that, to where they feel appreciated and loved too.
Wow. So you're just trying to create a real community around the service.
Definitely community based for sure.
And then so far the results have been pretty good.
Yeah. I love all of our families and my angels.
Now, what's harder to find, families or angels?
Angels, 1,000%.
1,000%? Mm-hmm. Why, like, people don't want to do this? Or
I mean, it's hard. It's work. It's physically hard. It's mentally hard. It's like it's just draining. But at the same time, on the opposite side of the coin, is just as rewarding, because you have people like buying you birthday gifts and remembering your birthday and giving you off on your birthday and off on all major holidays, because they obviously are spending time with their families. So there's different perks like that to make it just as rewarding as it is physically draining.
So how do you find the angels?
It depends. We usually do applications on, it's a weeks of process for hiring angels, but we usually start online with applications, either through like a career services at Georgia State or places like Indeed, places like that, where they can apply, or through our website. And then we filter all of those, which is usually dozens, if not over 100. And then we move on to phone interviews and then in-person interviews and then training, and then they're officially hired.
Wow. So they have to go through a lot to be hired, because you got to be very choosy, because these people are going into other people's houses, right?
Yes.
Their
and that's
trust
another
is-
part of the grant I want to look towards, is like getting that process down.
And then how are you going to do that with some of the advisors and use the resources that the grant helped you work with?
Yes. So I want to eventually have more of like a training boot camp. So we're not doing everything on our own on site. That's another thing too. Our families are gracious enough to let us train in-house. So they let our potential angels come in home and train with our current angels, which has
what do you
been
have to train them?
amazing.
Like how to do dishes?
On site, you'd be amazed how people load dishwashers and do laundry.
So you have the angel way of loading a dishwasher.
Oh yeah, we have an angel way of doing folding, organizing everything.
Folding.
Yeah, how to fold sheets, package sheets, everything.
Well, see, I find that very attractive, because I want to work with an organization that has a methodology, that has some structure, some rigor, some discipline to it. Now, the platform, is there a platform? Do I pick up the phone and just talk this through with you, or is there a platform for me to try to find the right angel for the right set of tasks? Or how do I do that?
Yeah, so we have our online application, which is pretty thorough. And we have families apply, like, what type of angel would you like? What's the schedule you desire? They can put like non-smoker, college student, all that kind of stuff. And then I speak with them on the phone, so I get like a personality match as well. So it's like, this seems like a very perky, active family. I need to find someone that's active and can go out with the kids and run and play and all that stuff. We also have very quiet, quaint families that like to stay in home and read and make sure everything's organized and tidy, not too messy. So I really have to, which is the difficulty with hiring angels, is that we always need angels, but we also need all different kinds of personalities at the same time, while keeping that uniform, knowing how to do what we do, how we do it.
Right, like the quality has to be there no matter what their personality is.
Yeah, so it's literally like making spaghetti, which sounds crazy, but all these things intertwine, all these noodles intertwine and go together, and you have to add the sauce and all that stuff to make a beautiful plate.
All right, but if we miss the mark, and we might, you and I talk, you send out an angel, and it's not that they're a bad person, it's not that I'm a bad person, but it didn't quite click, then can I swing back around and say, hey, you know what, Susie may not be the right fit, can we try again? I don't have to have that uncomfortable conversation with Susie. I can have that conversation with you, right? And
Exactly.
And you'll help me find Barbara or Bill.
Exactly.
And that probably will be a good fit.
Yeah, because it's part of being a nanny, which kind of sucks sometimes, is that you don't feel like you can speak up for yourself. And a part of being a family with a nanny is you don't feel like you want to hurt their feelings. So, because they're helping you. So we're kind of that middleman to where they're both sides are comfortable to come to us and be like, which I highly, I recommend it. And I tell every single family, they have like a note to self sheet when they first sign up as a family. Like if something's going wrong, I need to know then, because 7 trips later, you're going to be frustrated and want to fire your angel. And I could have fixed it on the first trip. And same thing with angels. If they're not happy with the family, I need to know right then for something we can twerk or do. Or tweak, not twerk. Sorry.
That's a different kind of angel.
Whoops. Something we could tweak or do so that our angel is also enjoys her job as well.
And then, so how many angels do you have out there right now?
5 currently.
5.
Yes.
So then you are growing.
Yeah, a little.
A little still
little
counts.
by little.
And then, how many families about?
We probably have about 25 recurring families.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then from an expectation standpoint, how many hours does a family typically contract?
Usually without childcare, it's about, I want to say 4 to 8 hours per week. And it's usually averages about 35 hours per month. That's our most, popular package of hours. But families with childcare go up towards like 60.
Right. Because then it's like after school or during the day.
Exactly.
That adds up quick.
Yep.
And then, who's the profile of the perfect angel? Is it a college student or is it somebody else?
Yeah. We're trying to find that like sweet spot, because right now, it seems to be after college, but before their career is like our sweet spot, to where they don't really know exactly what they want to do yet, but they also have their credentials and the responsibility of having a degree.
They need, some money and flexibility more than like a steady job at this point.
Exactly. And college students work as well. If they know their schedule and they're willing to work around work, as well as like managing their school, and they can balance that well, that's also great. Great.
And
match.
then the family is that, it could be somebody with a bunch of kids. It could be a single person. Like,
oh yeah.
What's the profile of a family?
We have business owners with no kids. We have couples that are married with animals. We have couples that are married with no animals. I think our biggest family has 4 kids, and animals. So
wow, you'll take everybody.
Yep.
So now if somebody wanted to learn more about Angel Assistance, is there a website?
Yes. So we are angelassistance.org, and that's CE, not TS. We also have our Instagram is Angel Assistance ATL. And our email is contact@angelassistance.org.
And then you've been pretty happy with the way GSU has been treating you?
Oh, yeah. Like this whole E&I program in college is really life-changing for a lot of kids, especially kids that wouldn't have the chance in other universities, because you'd see like you can just walk into E&I and see the difference.
Good stuff. Well, Thank you so much for sharing your story, and congratulations on the success.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. Well, Stone, that's a wrap here at GSU E&I Radio. We will see you all next time.